Hello, my name is Mike the Mighty, and thank you for watching my video. Today I'm doing a review of Black Desert Online, and this is a review, obviously most of my core people, audience that watch my channel would are Guild Wars 2 players, so this is going to be a review from a Guild Wars 2 player's perspective, rather than just a general overview, because there are many of those out there. So as you can see here, we've logged in and we have servers. Now there isn't really too much explanation as for what each server means. You can see there's overrun, crowded. You can go and click on other different ones as well. But generally it's just what server you go on. I just picked the very top one. So as you can see, we're actually going into the server, and I've created a couple of characters already, but we're going to go through the character creation. And for me, this is where it beats Guild Wars 2 pretty substantially, because the character creation is incredibly detailed. I will have to say there is a few caveats. So let's talk about creating a new character, and we go through it. There are 8 professions, however, the witch and the wizard are pretty much the same profession, they're just different, obviously, sexes. And this is where it's a little bit on the downside. Each profession is locked to a particular race and a particular sex. A warrior is a male human. You have a berserker, which is a giant male. You've got the witch and the wizard, and you've got like a Valkyrie. You've got different abilities. So you've got this tamer, which is sort of kind of a ranger from Guild Wars 2, but obviously you have a ranger as well. You've got the Valkyrie. I mean, the detail is incredible, and that is where the detailing we're going to come into. But this ranger is like an elf, and they're locked, and that's what I don't like compared to Guild Wars 2. Guild Wars 2, you can have an Azura, you can have a male or female, that can be any of the 9 professions. This, you're locked in. As a wizard, you're just locked in. You can't change your sex, you can't change your race. And this is where, as well, when they say there's 8 professions, there's actually 7. The wizard and the witch are pretty much they're identical. But you obviously, it's very good at explaining, however. If you look at the bottom of the screen, you've got some video footage, and you've got this sort of mapping ability to see what is good about this particular playstyle. So that's pretty very well explained, and you can go through all the different actual professions out there. But again, the limited ability to actually customize your class. I've got 3 elementalists that are all different. I've got a male Norn, I've got a female human, and a female Azura. I wish I could be able to do this in Black Desert Online, but I guess it's trying to pigeonhole those type of races into those type of professions. Like, you got a male warrior, a male human, for example. Why can't I have a female warrior? It's kind of irritating. But we move on, and we've got a lot of customization. So first off, you can change the horoscope. You can pick a different one. Many different ones as well. There's lots of things going on the UI, which is something that's a little bit tricky. However, one of the good things is that they have the ability in the bottom left to actually save your templates, which is pretty cool. So we're going to move on. We've got horoscopes, and you can actually look at each one. You've got weather, so you can actually change what your character will look like in different weathers, which is, again, something that's pretty cool in this. In Black Desert Online, your character's look changes. You've got character actions, which can be very complicated. And you've got customization, which is phenomenal. So you can see here, you've got different actions, how your character stands, and these are all really well done. You've got a massive big smile there. You can make it really goofy. You've got fantastic different animations. The animations they are incredible. So you've got different outfits as well, but you've got a lot of customization available. You can see some of the clothes that you can also wear as well, basic clothes that you actually start off with. But let's move on and let's talk about the customization. So you've got the hair. Now the hair, again, you are kind of limited. Each race has their own different hairstyles, but the customization completely destroys Guild Wars 2's regarding different styling, and you can tailor your character so uniquely. I mean, it really is a phenomenal ability to just change the sheen, change different lengths of hair. You can actually see here, you can create the length of the hair, but not only that, you can actually move individual strands of hair as well. Well, not individual strands, but like groups of hairing as well. You've got different colors. You can change the ending. You can give yourself highlights, for example. And it's just incredible the amount of detail that you can do and change with the options when you create a character. you know, I can spend like 45 minutes to an hour just creating my character. So there's the hair, the face, limited on face. You only have the ability to move the 6 different faces. However, again, you can move the adjustable features, you know, cheekbones, chin, forehead, eyes, and get all incredibly detailed in actually how you can change your character. But for the basic sets, if you're not really too interested, you don't have too much ability to create just a basic template. So I wanted to give this detail because obviously one of the key things in Guild Wars 2 was customization, or is customization, and having certain kits give you special features. And in this, you've got different beards as well. I mean, something that's been pretty lacking from Guild Wars 2. But again, you can change the length of the beard, you can change the color. There is so much detail that you can actually have to change in your characters. And there is many different ways you can change them. I'm not going to go into the full detail because they're there for you to explain, but you can see this section here. You can move around your different types of your face, make your face bigger and smaller, make your chin longer, make your forehead tighter, and many different ways to actually change the look of your character. And this is actually where it's really, really well done. So now we move on, and we've created our character, we've customized it. You actually have a family name that will appear on all of your characters, and then you create a character name. So obviously I'm going for Micah the Mighty this time, and you can't actually have spaces, well, I'm just capitalizing yeah, so you have a few little issues. So you actually you have to use an underscore, which is kind of irritating. Obviously in Guild Wars 2 you're able to have spaces, and so I just use a little underscore there. So we create the character, and you can see here it's level 1. You've got a few other characters. Here we go. So this is my male warrior character. You can see he starts off with like basic outfit. And then we're going to go into and start the actual game. So we created our character. A little bit of a loading screen, but however, Guild Wars 2 has plenty of loading screens that take a while. You know, Lion's Arch is a bit of a pain. But we're going to experience for, you know, what it's like in the game generally. So from a Guild Wars 2 point of view, customization of your characters, limited although it is by a profession and race, what you can then do is far superior to Guild Wars 2. Okay, so I've skipped on a bit. You do get this little tutorial. You've got navigation methods. You can see here you actually have to use them to learn how to actually move around the map. You've got T to move, for example, and I'm following this to a quest person here. And this is obviously going back to the system, you know, for those of you playing Guild Wars 2, it's kind of going back a bit. You can see here you get this text, and again, you can see what's going on. This is kind of where I start to get a little bit disappointed with BDO. For the simple reason that with BDO, you're in this questing system. This isn't what was in an MMO 5 years ago. Guild Wars 2 changed that and brought in a lot of different things, you know, the heart system, dynamic events. With this, you're constantly running around to do quests, and there's so much text information that you really just don't bother wanting to actually read it after a while. So there is a few issues regarding some of the questing system. This next section is going to be a very good explanation as for what is some of the issues for me as a Guild Wars 2 player.
Stop seeking light, even in the deepest darkness.
So as you just saw there, I was like clicking, but not only that, the voice acting is pretty dire. It really is. There's no real connection to the actual NPC. It's very, very disappointing. So voice acting, not really that terrific. 5 out of 10 for me. Obviously, for some people, it's not really a big part of the game, but for others, it really is one of the big things that you just look at and go, whoa, that is just so wrong. Which is, you know, obviously this is a Korean MMO. They've brought in, you know, sort of voice actors for, you know, the westernization of BDO. But again, it's very, very poor. Not only that, the questing where you're just constantly clicking through, it's just so boring. It really is tiresome. Imagine doing this hundreds of times. It's tedious. All these different options. You're like, okay, wow, okay. But you've got some skill points. This is how you actually gain skills. So very much similar to the Guild Wars 2 system, how it is now, in which you actually gain skill points, which you can spend on traits or skills. And then you actually get to learn them. So this is kind of interesting, the way that obviously BDO actually runs it, by having this system where you learn the skills by actually performing them. And you can tell it actually has it at the top as well. A little bit difficult for actually understanding what the game was asking me. Tutorial-wise, it's not brilliant. It's so in-depth that it takes a long time to actually fully appreciate everything that's going on and everything in BDO. So, compared to how Guild Wars 1 works, Guild Wars 2 works, this is okay. The tutorial steps, it's okay, because Guild Wars 2, again, has some of its own issues in it trying to explain things, but it's very, very good in how it actually, at the top of the screen, it tells you what you actually have to do, and it gives you this little ability, sort of mouse and keyboard setup where you actually figure out what you have to do. And this next step is something that I really wanted to bring to the attention, because for Guild Wars 2 players, we don't have quests. We just go around, we have dynamic events, we have the heart system. Guild Wars 1 obviously had questings, but this is where I just find this game so tedious. You have a quest, go kill two creatures, you then get a reward. Okay, get another quest, go kill more creatures, get a reward. Go and kill more creatures, get a reward. This was the MMO in 5 years ago. The MMO genre has moved on from this boring, useless, tedious amount of time that we're spending in-game. Okay, I appreciate that it gets you used to some of the combat skills. But when you're doing this higher and higher levels, you'd think, okay, basic level, yeah, but this keeps on going up and up and up as you level up. You still have to do the same type of quests. Go here, kill 10 of these. Go here, kill 20 of these. Go here, kill 30 of these. It's boring. It is just one of the worst things about BDO. But this is what it is. It's a Korean MMO. And, initially it's kind of novel. The fact that obviously something from Guild Wars 2 we don't actually have. We have that in that sort of nostalgia from Guild Wars 1. But it's just, Guild Wars 2, I always remember the opening, sort of what they wanted to do with Guild Wars 2 and how they wanted to change the game. This just feels like an MMO that's been updated for the for 2016, but it's still, the basics are still rooted, back in 2005. And that's how it feels. Look at this questing that I'm doing. It's just like skip, get reward. Skip, get reward. Skip, get reward. Oh my god, this is boring. And this is what it is. And this is the quest system. Now, people are going to say this is a sandbox MMO. Fair enough. But you can't just have tedious quests in the game. Again, look at the AI, the sort of the UI. We've got lots of information on the UI, and it's just not clean at all. I have a lot of things going on right now. Look how much information is on my screen right now. It is incredible. You've got things like other quests that are available. You've got the mini-map in the top right. You've got quests to your right, which is very, very similar to Guild Wars 2. But then you've got lots of other things going on. Every time you mouse over something, you're actually having a lot of information thrown at you. You've got so many names in front of you. You've got skills as well that you have to keep doing. There's just so much. You've got arrows all over the place. Lots of information on your UI, and it's just a little bit too cluttered. And this is where, again, Guild Wars 2 seems very sleek, very smooth. But BDO it is a Korean MMO, and this is what you're going to expect. So the particular, you talk about sort of what perception of Korean MMOs, what you actually get with them. This is pretty much what you're going to get. It is a traditional Korean MMO. You get the grind, you get the phenomenal, amazing detailing, but again, it's a little bit cluttered. It's not streamlined. You've got a lot of information. However, I will say that one of the things that is great is the pathing system. So you can see there, I actually had to get to this circle on the map. Now, instead of just running, I actually pressed the button that actually took me there automatically. which is great. I don't have to do anything. I just let it run for me, and it's there. I'll be there. That will come back to a little bit later. But again, you're going to be seeing me kill lots of other different enemies. This next part is actually going to show you one of the main towns that you can actually visit. This is Velia. And this is pretty much the first town that I came across during my, starting this up as a human. And so there are a large congregation of people. Now you can also see on the right hand side of my player, look at all the information we've got. You've got the map section here. These are all the people, and this is where I'm going to talk about a few other features of the game. So this is actually an ability where you can actually purchase housing, something extremely lacking in the Guild Wars universe. You've actually got your home instance in GW2. In this case, you can actually buy a substantial amount and customize your home quite substantially, and this is far superior to GW2 in terms of your personal housing. The customization options are phenomenal as well. But this is the town, and one thing that is kind of irritating is that you actually have to talk to an NPC to actually unlock his icon. Because at the moment, as you can see on my minimap, I have no idea where any of the NPCs are. It is extremely irritating trying to find the right NPC, especially if you're looking at selling items on the trading post. Because it actually you actually have to remember physically where it is, and they're not showing up quite clearly as they do in Guild Wars 2. And so that is a slight minor inconvenience. But again, the actual town is very, very beautiful. Being able to go through doors, I mean, they close behind you. Seeing all the people are about, you can bump into them. You've got like pubs, great for role playing. Oh, I mean, this is just absolutely beautiful and stunning. But then we come into a couple of slight issues. One being a few moments ago, you may have seen a big congregation of players. This is where we have mounts. Now, mounts are something that have never been in Guild Wars. It's a position I fully agree with in terms of ArenaNet and why they're not in Guild Wars 2. I don't see the need for mounts at all. And anyone who thinks the mounts should be in Guild Wars 2, they're just fooling themselves. So let's talk about mounts in Black Desert Online. Mounts in Black Desert Online can be absolutely beautiful, can be stunning. Again, visually, animations, unbelievable. Mounts are very, very necessary in this game because they do significantly cut back your travel times between places. And that's where, as a Guild Wars 2 player, I really found this pretty frustrating. The mounts, as you can see, when you jump off a mount when you're in a town, they just end up staying there parked, inverted commas. And they just end up cluttering the whole town. It's just really unnecessary. I find it really the mounts being left all over the place, pretty lack of it sort of defeats the immersion of Black Desert Online when you see all these horses just randomly just parked up in ridiculous places. And then we get to another issue, which is the fact that you have to travel everywhere. And the traveling really is a game killer. It's a time killer. It really is poor. You actually spend a lot of your time at the later stages going from one place to another. It can take you, 10 minutes to travel between places. It's okay, your character can do that automatically, but why? Why does that need to exist in 2016? Why is this in games? Okay, you have immersion, but it's poor. It's time consuming. I don't need that. And being able just to run around, I could show you footage right now of me just running around, but I'm just gonna show you stuff of me in the background exploring the map, because I could show you boring stuff of me just running along a road. It's not fun. It's not interesting. It's boring. And having Guild Wars 2's waypoint system is far, far superior. And I think that this is one of the fundamental flaws of Black Desert Online. Having to run between places is a huge time constraint. It will take you so much out of your game time traveling around the world. Now look, I'm someone who, I didn't play World of Warcraft, so I don't actually have that perspective. I played Guild Wars 1. And I know that you could waypoint between, you could go around between the outposts in Guild Wars 1, but you had to get, for example, if we take the Maguma Falls, to actually get to the falls in the Maguma Jungle in Guild Wars 1, you had to travel through 3 maps, and it was pretty time consuming to get there. But that was a one-off, that was a special situation. And in GW2 you have waypoints around the place. There are a few places like ore when you have contested waypoints, and so it can be frustrating. But nowhere near as frustrating as going from one place to another and then realizing, oh, you didn't need to go there, or you needed something back at the first town, and so you actually have to run all the way back. Oh dear, what a tiring piece of boredom that is. But look, this is my opinion, and I wanted to make this video based on how players in Guild Wars 2 might feel. There are a couple of major flaws. One would be the quest system, very, very poor. The fact that there's limited questing, and it is this typical bog standard grinding, sort of kill 10 monsters, etc. The second is the traveling. You can see we've got some donkeys and some horses. It's great to have mounts in a game that, they look beautiful, but again, I wish that there was an ability to transport to another, teleport to another town and just avoid all this traveling. So now we're actually moving on to something that is a really interesting feature. You might hear in the background one of my guys I play with, Jiggy Joe. You might hear him on my podcast. But we're actually talking about the combat now. And the combat is very, very different to other MMOs. It's very action orientated. You can see you've got different skills that you can use, different combos that you can do. Again, it's kind of tricky to get the hang of compared to the typical sort of MMO style that I've been used to in Guild Wars 2. It's interesting. I'm not going to say it's better or worse. I find it different, but it's no better or worse. I enjoyed it. I found it can be pretty immersive. But again, it's something different as opposed to better or worse. If you actually enjoy that, then that might be something you should consider. However, where it starts to get pretty tedious is another downside, and that is the grind. Grinding in this is prevalent all over the place. To get up to certain levels, you really have to grind, and by killing lots and 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 lots of monsters. Oh dear, not even any variety. You can't go up using quests. Many quests don't give you that much XP. It's killing and killing and killing and killing and killing just enemies in the world. Yawn. But what else would you expect from a Korean MMO? So you do get to use the combat a lot. It is interesting, if you look at the map, what we have right now, you've got the quest objective. I mean, the problem is, look at my UI right now. There is so much going on my UI. I have no idea where to look. You've got a mini-map, you've got quest information, you've got an alert to the right-hand side, you've got health bar, energy bar, you've got what you're actually doing, you've got the enemy's health, you've got your name, you've got your family name, you've got quest objectives, you've got combo at the top, you've got other little messages, you've got your leveling, you've got party information as well, you've got private messaging, you've got chat messages, you've got hint bars going all across the bottom, you've got your key bar going across the bottom as well. Oh my god, there is just so much information on the UI. It is information overload. It reminds me of, for example, if you compare a Windows product to an Apple product, the Apple product will always be slick, smooth, simplified, and pretty cool. The Windows will have lots of information. It'll be very, very funky. It'll be like as much information as possible. So for those of people out there that love all the information, this is great. I'm coming. But it's not cool, and it's pretty. I mean, just look how much information's on there right now. It's information overload, and a lot of it isn't needed. You can customize the UI, but again, this shouldn't be even be in the basic. It shouldn't be all this information, and the fact that there is all this information required, it's yeah. I mean, look, there's it actually tells you when you cross into another territory. It has that on the mini map. It shouldn't need reminding that you're in a different area. So the combat system, interesting. One thing as well, you notice it's nighttime. I actually have a lantern that I'm equipping, and it actually runs out. That's pretty cool. I like the fact that you have this in the game. But again, look at what I'm actually doing. Small imps. I've got to kill lots of imps. Oh dear. I mean, they're not even a big threat. It's just kind of tedious. It's not fun. And that's really where it comes down to. You know, initially it's a lot of fun, and after a while, I'm loving these combos that I'm doing. I'm just doing, yeah. But then after a while, it's like, I'm doing this again and again and again and again. And you probably might even notice in the chat logs, a lot of people going, looking for grinding. Oh dear. So the combat on one hand is quite different, but interesting. But the amount of times you actually have to just use it for boring stuff, it makes it pretty tedious. So what you're going to see now is actually me I was creating with Jiggy Joe a character. We're both picking the same character. So this is where you're going to see a bit more customization. So I'm hoping you'll enjoy this in the background. You know, there are a lot of other features about Black Desert Online that I've not touched. The fact they can build relationships with different characters by talking about other people that they know. That's kind of cool. The crafting system. I'm not a big fan of it, to be honest. I find the GW2, and this is saying something, I actually prefer the Guild Wars 2 crafting system. I found the Black Desert Online crafting disappointing. So yeah, there's lots of things that, you know, are pretty cool about Black Desert Online. And by no means is it a bad game. It's a very good game. But there are certain features that Guild Wars 2 players will come into this and be like, wow, what is this doing? Why is this like this? You know, this isn't in Guild Wars 2 anymore. You know, things like the grind, things like the long traveling, things like the, you know, tedious nature of certain things, quests that just are pretty dull and dreary. The UI being very, very cluttered, the poor voice acting. However, the Black Desert Online has phenomenal detailing, phenomenal customization. It is a beautiful game, smooth, really, really enjoyable to actually travel this world and to appreciate the sights. But a game can only live on its sights and sounds for so long, and then the flaws start to show up. Overall, what would I give this out of 10? Well, I think this is a solid game, and probably going to be the best MMO of 2016. I would give it a 8 out of 10. If a person asked me, should I get Black Desert Online, or would I recommend it? I'd say it's a pretty cool game. I would definitely recommend it. I think it's a very good game if you enjoy MMOs. If you played World of Warcraft, you'll pretty much appreciate Black Desert Online. I think Guild Wars 2 players, depending on where you've come from, if you've come from that World of Warcraft background, and you've come into Guild Wars 2, maybe going into Black Desert Online might feel like a step backwards. But again, it's an experience, and you'll have a lot of fun. You know, you'll enjoy yourself. Is it going to be worth the price of purchasing it? I think you'll get some fun out of it, and you know, it's obviously not a subscription-based game, so you can come in and out. But again, it's a very different style. It is that sandbox MMO, so it's how you want to play it. The story, there is pretty limited story, and the lack of a primary story to drive you to certain locations is pretty disappointing. So if we were to sum up overall then for Black Desert Online versus, coming from a Guild Wars 2 point of view, what are the positives and what are the negatives? The positives, I would say the combat. Combat is pretty unique. I find it a really good lot of fun. I find the detailing, the graphics, and all of the systems, how much detail they have, really, really well thought out, really well detailed. So there is some phenomenal depth to the game. Customization is incredible. As you're seeing in the background, the ability to pretty much customize the character to however you want your character to look like is insane. It's phenomenal. Way more than I've ever experienced in any other game at all that I've played. So there are a lot of the good things. Not only that, but you've got things like your own housing, which is pretty cool. And generally the ability to customize pretty much anything that you get in the game. You can customize your horses as well. So it is phenomenal for creating a game that you want it to be like. Downsides, grinding in this game is very prevalent and extremely disappointing that we have to still grind in this day and age. I find the lack of story pretty disappointing. The fact that quests are very generic, and when you actually speak to the NPC, you just have to keep pressing the click button without even reading any of the text. Very, very disappointing as well. I also find a few other issues with Black Desert Online. Things like the length of time it takes to travel between towns, and generally, that this is an MMO that really, if it came out 5 years ago, this is what we would expect from the top-end MMOs. We're in 2016. This is not how an MMO should still exist. It's very lacking in a lot of areas. Now, again, people will again say that this is a sandbox MMO, so it's how you want to play it. However, it's an MMO. There are certain aspects that must be in an MMO. And I feel that certain things are lacking in BDO, which, coming from a Guild Wars 2 player's perspective, the fact that we have in Guild Wars 2, we have heart quests, we have dynamic events, which is so incredible when you realize that they aren't in Black Desert Online. All the dynamic events that are in GW2 are incredible. The systems, the crafting system, the UI is phenomenal compared to Black Desert Online, which is a cluttered mess. The voice acting is appalling when you compare things like, look at the voice acting for Timey, which is incredible compared to some of the stuff you get in BDO. Overall, I'd rate Black Desert Online, as I mentioned before, an 8 out of 10 game. Would I recommend it to a GW2 player? Yes. I believe that for certain GW2 players, this is a great game to fill the gap between now and Living World Season 3. However, this game won't be for everybody, and at a certain price, it is going to put off other players. But it'd be great to hear, those of you that have delved into the world of Black Desert Online, please let me know in the comment section below, and I'd be glad to hear your thoughts on this. But this is my view after playing Black Desert Online, and hopefully it will be of some use to you. Thanks for watching.